You're dialed in to the Dog Pound Podcast, your weekly shot of Cleveland Browns recaps, reactions, and rants with your hosts, John Drake and Chris Aiken.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 4 of the Dog Pound Podcast. I am your host, John Drake. With me is Chris Aiken, my esteemed co-host. How's it going, man?
I'm angry. That's how it's going. I'm angry.
I am so glad we didn't do this yesterday because if I dropped one F-bomb, I dropped about 1,000.
Well, there might be some on this podcast. There's a good chance there's going to be some on this one.
Watch out for the cursing in this one, kids. So we're here to talk about a 42-34 Cleveland Browns win.
No.
Wait a minute. What should have been a 42-34 Cleveland Browns win. Let's just get right to it.
Yeah.
That was a first down at the end of the game. And the Browns would have just been able to kneel it down 3 times, and the game's over, and we leave with a 2-1-1 record. That was bullcrap on a stick.
They got cornholed like an amateur porn girl in her first ever shoot.
Yes, they did.
Got railed. Oh, my God. That was one of the worst calls in the history of worst calls. With all the garbage that they've been having with the NFL this year, with just poor calls, that's the worst call of the entire year to date. I can't think of one worse. Can you?
Not really.
I mean, those Clay,
not that I've seen.
The Clay Matthews sacks that were penalties were bad, but not that bad.
This one decided a game. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was literally the difference between the Browns winning and losing. And people are blaming the referees today on a lot of things. And to me, the calls balanced out. Everyone's talking about how, the in the grasp when we recovered the fumble and might have gotten a touchdown off it, that was ridiculous. And, but I mean, the fact of the matter is, there was a stupid roughing the passer penalty against the Raiders that was non-existent. So that wasn't cool. And then the Marshawn Lynch thing where he said his forward progress was stopped when it wasn't.
Right.
I mean, so those calls, the refs were terrible. Yeah. But I think it went both ways. So really, the game came down to that stupid first down. It was the first down. The game was over.
Yeah. Well, according to the announce team, you're not allowed to say that the officiating was bad because, as they pointed out several times in the game, this is the most experienced team of all of the NFL. They have 139 years of Shut up.
Yeah, who cares?
All that means is they've got enough experience that they're old and missing calls left and right. They stunk.
Yeah, it was real bad.
They were bad on every level.
It's exactly as I posted on Facebook. Like, I can handle losing. I mean, we're the Browns. I'm used to losing because we're just not a good team.
Right.
But to lose when we did what we were supposed to do, and the defense was terrible yesterday. I mean, let's just say it like it is, So I get that. But Baker Mayfield, after they were up 28-14 and gave up 20 consecutive points, and they were down 34-28, Baker put up 14 unanswered points of his own. So the offense did what it needed to do to win the football game. Yeah. They had the ball. All they needed was a first down. They got it. Game over. And the referees took that away from us.
Yeah, no, we got screwed bad on that. I mean, we got the game taken from us. I mean, the crazy thing, and I hate that we keep doing this week after week after week, but now we get to say, well, we should be 4-0.
Yeah.
And there's legitimacy to it. It's not, spoiled, stupid Browns fans just, trying to find an excuse. We really should be 4-0.
Even just 2-1-1. I mean, it's a difference of one game, but doesn't 2-1-1 sound so much better than 1-2-1?
Yeah, it does.
I mean, it's the difference between a winning record and a losing record.
Sure. I would have been happy with the tie. Not going to lie. When it got down to about 2 minutes left in the thing, and, right when the Raiders started moving the ball, I was like, okay, I'm good with another tie here.
Yep.
I just was, at the end, you just felt that it wasn't going to happen, though. I mean, once the Raiders had the ball that second drive, did you tell me you didn't know it was over?
Oh, yeah.
It was just.
I walked out of the room because I knew it was going to happen. As soon as I saw him get down inside the 30, I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're done.
So
here.
I knew. Yeah. I mean, it's like I'm like this is done. I already know what's going to happen. This is, the defense was gassed, and you can just tell that they were just being marched on at will. The wind was out of their sails from that first down.
Yeah.
It was not called.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just bad. I mean, but were there highlights? I mean, Myles Garrett, yes.
He got another sack.
Yeah, I mean, and he looked damn he looks like a really dominant player.
Yeah, he does.
I mean,
he's the real deal, man.
He's the real deal.
I mean,
who else?
Unfortunately, Emmanuel Ogbah didn't do anything, so he was non-existent. Ogunjobi wasn't as dominant as he's been.
Yeah.
Losing Terrence Mitchell sucks.
Yeah, that does suck. That's going to hurt.
The only saving grace is that, from what I was hearing, is that he had surgery this morning, and people were saying that, because they're putting pins and screws and all that stuff, that it's like a 5 or 6 week thing and not all season.
Okay.
So there's potential he could be back after a few games. So that's good, because that guy was a ball hawk for us.
Denzel Ward didn't play very well yesterday. He's okay, but he wasn't great.
Well, he's played 4 games and he has 1 crappy one. So I guess I'll take 3 out of 4.
Was it me or did it seem like Carr could just pass at will through the entire game? It did.
Yeah, the defense was they were terrible. But I mean, they couldn't stop the run, which then opens up the pass. And Carr was getting rid of the ball so quickly. It's kind of like the same thing with Baker.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to pressure a guy like that because they're just not sitting on the ball very long.
Yeah. Well, I was glad to see that Callaway is now rooming with Njoku, since he now can't catch the ball worth a damn either.
What was with those drops? I can't even believe it. Like, you get paid to catch a ball.
Yeah.
What in God's name is that?
The one where he was open, where he just blew past the defense and he was open by like 15 yards. I know that was a Baker bad pass, but that one that just bothered me to no end. that he was open by it had to be 10, maybe 15 yards between him and the defense, and the ball was just overthrown. It was like, oh, come on. Yeah. Baker played bad. I thought he played bad. I mean, not awful, but not.
I have a hard time saying a guy played bad when he put up 42 points. It's the most points they've scored in 11 years, and it's in his first start ever on the road in a hostile environment.
Yeah, but
the pick 6 wasn't his fault.
No,
it was a drop. That was a drop.
Callaway.
The one fumble, his lineman hit him, so that wasn't his fault. The miscommunication on the snap, that one was his fault, and the other, the second pick was pretty much his fault. But so the guy had 2 turnovers that were pretty stupid. But
but if you're going to go that route, I could say that he got 14 points that he had nothing to do with the 2 Chubb touchdowns.
Phrase it however you want, man. The guy put up 42 points. Tyrod Taylor couldn't sniff 42 points in 3 games.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying that the offense didn't play okay, but that's 42 points. I think was partly due to the Raiders not having much on defense either. They didn't seem to want to stop anything. We stopped ourselves more than the Raiders stopped the Browns. That's for sure. The drop passes have got to stop.
Yeah, that's just a killer, man.
And that's coaching. That's coaching. That's if the Browns want, I'm sure we could throw a GoFundMe together and buy them 10 new jugs machines and just plant them in Berea and just have these receivers taking 1,000 balls to start and end practice. I mean, what
if we're doing a GoFundMe for any, it's to get a completely new lineup on special teams.
Yeah,
because that is awful.
Yeah, the special teams is absolutely abysmal. That coach should be fired immediately.
What did they expect, though? We've said it before. They hire a guy who had the worst special teams in the league. What the hell is that?
Yeah, it's not smart.
How is that a smart hire? What do you now? Now they're like, oh, the special teams are costing us. You think?
Yeah, no.
So don't hire a guy who sucks at special teams.
No. Well, and here, I don't know if you thought this or not, but is it me or should they just cut Greg Joseph now if they have zero confidence in using him?
What was that? Yeah.
If they're not going to use him, cut him. Get a fullback if you're going to run 2-point conversions every time. Get a fullback.
Did you hear an explanation for that today? Because I didn't. All I heard was that they're trying to be aggressive, and I was like, why are they not kicking extra points? I'm like, is the footing that bad, or do they not trust him, or I mean, what's going on?
Well, I'm going to say this, and this has to be true. Greg Joseph, who came in after the last guy got fired, and now they won't use him to kick extra points. What kind of confidence does this guy that's never been in the NFL have at this point?
Yeah.
You know, he's going to come in and absolutely be wrecked if he comes in with the game on the line. You know, if he comes in 45-yard field goal, game on the line with 3 seconds left in a game, and they don't trust him to make 30-yard extra points, what confidence is this guy going to have? You know, that is poor coaching, and that's all Hue. You know, I don't give a damn what the special teams coach is doing. Hue has to trust his guys to perform on the field, and clearly he doesn't trust his kicker. I don't know if he stinks in practice or what, but if he sucks in practice, there's still 10 kickers that are unemployed. Get 2 of them in here and find one that you're comfortable with.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're finally at the point where there's not really many excuses that you can make for Hue Jackson going forward, because the team, you know, they have 2 losses, and each one is by a field goal in overtime.
Yeah.
And I mean, so the team is in position to win these games. And like you said, to start off the show, we legitimately could be talking about us being 4-0.
Yeah.
And at that point, if the team's doing its job and they're still not getting over the top, like you said, it's coaching. And, you know, Hue doesn't have the excuse of Sashi Brown and the tank job that they were doing for 2 years anymore. You got a team that can win games. I think we can. I mean, it's a quarter of the way through the season. And am I wrong in saying that I think we can finally say the Browns, at least talent-wise, and from a competitive standpoint, have turned the corner. They're a legitimate football team that can win games on a regular basis, I think.
Yeah, I will say, while I was frustrated throughout the whole game, it was nice to have a shootout. It was nice to be competitive in a shootout instead of just getting rolled. You know, that's nice, and certainly they are a much improved team. They're a team that's going to, maybe not this year, but by next year they're going to win games, because with any luck, by next year, they'll dump Hue Jackson and they'll get a coach that knows how to close. Yeah. But, you know, even that, I can't even completely put that on Hue yesterday. He did what he had to do to close. The refs took it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know,
that's the thing. I can't handle losing like that, dude. It's like, I mean, how do you make a call like that when you know the whole game hinges on that? I mean, what did somebody say? Like, I think the refs are getting in on those new betting rules.
They could be. I mean, what was the line? I didn't look at it, but I wonder what the line was yesterday, and if the Browns, who covered, is what I wonder. You know, because the Browns were the chic pick.
Yeah, I don't know the first thing about betting, so I wouldn't be able to answer that question.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't look, but at the beginning of the week, the point spread was 3.5. Isn't that convenient? So you had to pick somebody at 3.5. So, you know, and which basically means that whoever won, you got to pick the other team, which that's never comfortable to do in a bet.
Yeah.
But, you know, whatever. It was what it was yesterday. I thought there was some positive things, you know. Nick Chubb, that's my dude, man. Until they start playing that guy full time, that's going to be my dude. Every time he comes in, he just produces. Well,
now let's be honest. He did that yesterday. He hasn't done squat up until yesterday. But, I mean, you see the benefit of good quarterback play. I mean, Baker's chucking it down the field, so it opens up the running game, and Chubb took major advantage of that.
He did.
I mean, those 2 runs of his were fantastic.
Yeah, the second one especially, that was a great run, because he should have been tackled. You know, he was out lynching Marshawn Lynch on that run.
Right.
That was pretty good. And, man, and I know this has nothing to do with nothing, but how much do you hate Marshawn Lynch?
Oh, I've always hated that guy.
He's an obnoxious douche. I can't stand him. You know, take your Skittles and go fuck yourself. That's what I say.
Right. Yeah, that guy is just, I mean, I get it. Like he's hard to tackle and everything, but he's just one of those guys that's just so obnoxious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you're just like, go away already, will you?
Yeah. He fits on the Raiders. He's a perfect Raider.
Yeah, he does.
Just an obnoxious jagoff.
Yeah. And yet, he hasn't really done much this year. And, of course, we let him run all over us for 100 yards. We let 2 receivers get 100 yards.
Yeah.
Gave up, 560 yards of offense?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That was horrible.
Which you should lose when you give up that much offense. But, I mean, as much as it goes back to the refereeing again, because you got to take 75 yards of that off if they get the first down call right. Because then they had to march all the way down the field again, which was another 70, 75 yards.
Yeah.
So not that 500 is that much better than 570, but it's somewhat better. And plus the overtime. How much yardage did they get in overtime? It probably was a reasonable, not a great, but a reasonable number if you take off from the blown call to the end of the game.
It's probably another 100 yards.
Yeah, easily another 100.
And I mean 460 is still not great at all, but
no,
it's not 560.
Yeah, it's better.
Again, the game's over anyway, so yeah. I mean it's the God, that pisses me off so bad. It's like, we've lost enough. Like, now the refs are going to do it to us. I mean, every time we lose, there's some other dickhead way we're doing it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm over it, man. It's like, even when we get a good team that should be winning games, we're still not.
Well,
I mean, it's just like, what the hell?
Maybe we're just paying our dues.
I'd say Browns fans have already paid our dues, man.
Yeah, but that was with bad teams. Now we have to pay our dues as the team progresses from lousy to bad to decent. We're only at bad at this point. It is. I hate it. Dude, I absolutely hate it. But I'll give you something to at least consider that should make you really happy. Watching the Steeler fans just disintegrate right now is absolutely beautiful. The way
Agreed 100%.
It is so great knowing that they have a fairly bad team and they know it, and all their garbage that they have been talking for years, and they can't talk it this year because their team is average to below average. Their team.
I hope it stays that way.
I don't see it. How's it going to pick up? They don't have anybody on defense, and they can't run the ball.
Well, this is like that one year they started out like 0-4 or whatever, and then they still made the playoffs. It's like, you never know with those guys, man. And I hope it stays this way because that'd be awesome.
At least stays that way for another month or so until we go back up there.
Yeah, exactly.
They can pick it up in November. How's that?
Yeah,
from November on, they can be good.
Just give us a victory against them
in Pittsburgh. Oh, that would be awesome.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. It's like the Browns finally, the offense has a shot to beat anybody. But if the defense is going to crap the bed like this, I mean, like, you have a bunch of teams coming up that have high-powered offenses, but not really much on defense. I mean, you got the Falcons coming up, and there's a team that can score at will but can't stop anybody from scoring. So, right. I mean, if our defense would have just played a normal game yesterday, we would have won handily. I mean, they might have gotten 21 points.
Yeah.
So
what scares me is if we gave up 45 to the Raiders, what is a high-powered offense going to look like?
Yeah.
That's scary. What are they going to put up, 60? And yeah, Baker may be okay. He may be a good player, and he may progress to be one of the greats of all time at some point, but he ain't putting up 60 points yet.
No.
He definitely – he had a little – he looks good, but – and tell me if you think I'm wrong, but he looked a little bit squirrely at some points during the game yesterday.
I don't know if it's squirrely, but I mean, you could tell I think it's that gunslinger mentality they say that he has. He's just always looking to rip it, He doesn't. He just seems completely averse to checking down, which I don't have a problem with.
I don't either.
So I don't know if it's squirrely so much as it is he's always looking for that home run ball.
Yeah.
And to get chunk plays and everything, and it's just incredible what a different feel it is with him in there because the passing plays all go for like a bunch of yards, and again they scored 42 points with him at the helm.
No,
and,
I agree.
Chubb had 2 long runs, but I mean, look, man, with Tyrod Taylor in there, as we said, hey, that was not happening.
Yeah, well, we can't look at Tyrod anymore. That's That's a guy for another team next year. We're done with Tyrod Taylor. We don't even need to mention him anymore. But no, there was in the, and when I was watching the game back, there was that series of drives in the third quarter where there's like 6 drives and they were all punts or fumbles.
It was 5 in a row.
Yeah, and it was during that point that I thought Baker, it looked like for the first time, and that's going to happen. He's a rookie. But it looked like the game was a little faster than he was ready for during those, especially with the fumbles where he was calling stuff out and he wasn't as laser focused. And I think the game for the first time was fast for him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's going to happen. I mean, he's a rookie. And I don't care how great he is and how good he is with the media and how poised and all that nonsense. He's going to have bad games. And, yesterday was not a terribly bad game. Like you said, 42 points. We can't really bitch too much. You know, if he puts up 42 a game, we're going to be quite happy. Because if he puts up 42 a game, we're going to go 12-4 every year.
Yeah.
That's just, we should not be losing 42-point games. But yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to slag him for yesterday. I just thought that I think it's good in a way. In a way, I think that it is good for Baker that he did have some plays that he needs to clean up, getting that ball batted down. And I know that's going to be something he has to fight his whole career. But, getting the ball slapped back in his face a few times, it's good for him to have that so that he realizes that this isn't college. It's not college where he's playing against guys that are going to be working at the local hotel next month. It's good that he's seeing some fast defensive ends that are as fast as he is and know how to hold their ground and cover. He needs to see that stuff. And it's one of what I think is a positive is that he's not taking a bunch of hits. The offensive line, not very good yesterday, but Baker still did not get pummeled into the ground like we've seen here for 20 years.
I don't think the line was that bad yesterday. I mean,
they're okay. They were okay.
Did you see? I think. God, I wish I had the stats up in front of me. But the Browns are like in the top 5, maybe even 3. They might even be number 1. I forget, but I saw it today because I was looking up defensive stats and everything. And
sure.
They're like at least in the top 5, if not like I said, top 3, maybe number 1 in rushing offense in the NFL. They're averaging 154 yards a game on the ground.
Mm-hmm. No, they're not bad. They're definitely not bad. And I will say, and I think we can both admit that we were a little bit wrong. Desmond Harrison's turning out to be okay.
Yeah,
definitely not terrible. I'll be honest. I'm a little more worried about the guard than I am about him. But there seems to be like a lot of interior, and maybe I'm just reading too much into it. But it seems like Mayfield when he's getting flushed, which seems to be a lot. He seems to get flushed one way or the other out of the pocket, and it's coming from the interior, not from one side or the other. Which that's a statement against the guards usually, because the guard takes an inside rush and ends up near the middle where Mayfield has to either cut left or cut right, but he has to get out of the pocket. And it doesn't seem like it's like that's designed as much as it seems like he's just getting flushed out of the pocket a lot, which that's a little bit worrisome. And I don't know if it's, I'll be honest, I didn't look at it too hard on this game, but that's almost always a product of guard play. And I'm not sure if it's right or left, if it's Batonio or who's the right guard?
Zeitler.
I'm not sure which one it is, but somebody's not doing their job, or maybe their combination is not doing their job from play to play to close out, or turn their body the right way to force them around the edge.
Yeah, I think it's more the right side because it's not really usually coming from his blind side.
Yeah.
So it looks like the left side's holding up better than the right. I mean, speaking of Mayfield and those 5 drives in the second half we were just talking about, I was really surprised that they're throwing the ball at that point. Like, I understand you're being aggressive and whatnot, but the whole point to a power running game like that is to just eat clock and beat teams into submission. And when you're up on the road halfway through the third quarter by 2 touchdowns, that's when you start giving it to, especially, Chubb had that massive run by that point. Hyde was running well again. You just hand it to those guys and just wear the defense down.
Yeah.
I mean, I was really surprised they didn't do that. I thought that was a failure by Todd Haley.
Well, at least they gave Duke Johnson 12, 15 sorry. I guess I was dreaming again for a minute that they would put their most talented offensive asset into the game.
Well, they used him a little bit more, but still not nearly as much as you would think they would. I mean, dude, you know what it is? They're starting to run out of touches. I mean, that's all it is.
Well,
I mean, because Hyde has been successful these last couple games.
Yeah.
Now, if Chubb is doing what he did yesterday, if he's going to be, worth a damn, I mean, you just have too many guys.
Good. Line him up in the slot and sit Callaway down every time he drops the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, God, he's got to catch the ball. And Njoku, same thing. I don't think Njoku had a drop yesterday, but
no, he did.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
I missed it. So then that makes what for the season for him? 4, 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. Catch the damn ball. That's your job. Duke Johnson, if he's going to do one thing right, he ain't going to do a bunch of drops. That's not what he does. So put the ball in Duke Johnson's hands somehow. There's always, dude, when you have a player of that kind of talent, there's always some way to get the ball in their hand. And they're not doing it.
I like that they put him out at receiver a little more yesterday, so at least they were trying.
Yeah, but
you
know where they could put him and get him some quality touches, and for whatever reason they do it with Callaway that doesn't have the power to do it, is that stupid play where you run the running back up the middle and then you run motion with the wide receiver and then
like a reverse, yeah,
and then you pitch to the receiver cutting around the end. Put Duke Johnson in there instead of Callaway, and have Duke cutting across, somebody that can take a hit versus Callaway. That one play that they did it and he lost 8 yards or something.
Yeah.
Because the first guy touched him and he just was like panicking. I was like, dude, go forward.
And what the hell kind of play call was that on 3rd and goal?
That was
I mean, what kind of dicking around was that?
Yeah.
Like, just give it to Hyde. Just smash him in the mouth.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
As well as Hyde has been playing the last 2 games anyway, he should be getting those. He should be treated like like a bull running back at this point. He's obviously producing.
Yeah.
When you're giving him the ball on 2nd and short, 3rd and short, he's producing. So give him the ball on those drives, on those plays. Mm-hmm. Not they on that drive that you're talking about. That was just trying to be too cute. And I was, as much as I again dislike the announce team on the TV, I will agree fully with the announce team on that one when they called Hue Jackson out for being too cute.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's a Todd Haley thing. I mean,
I hate Hue Jackson. It's a Hue Jackson thing.
I will not have that kind of crap on the show. I hear that like Bull and Fox, and they're just they're basically destroying Hue Jackson every chance they get. And today the Bull is just screaming about how you're aggressive all game and then you don't go for it on 4th and inches. I'm like, dude. If he goes for it and they fail, you're going to be crucifying him for that because they were at their own 18-yard line.
Right.
So you're giving them the ball already in the red zone.
Yeah.
I mean, so what do you want?
Well, Adam the Bull's a boob. He's not. For as much as he knows about baseball, that's how little he seems to know about football. It's my take. I don't know. I mean, maybe some people think he's really wise about football. But no, he's a baseball guy. So
yeah,
stick to that, dude.
Well, I mean, him and Dustin Fox. Like, I mean, I almost can't listen because anytime Hue Jackson comes up, they're just destroying him, no matter what. And
right.
I'm just like, enough is enough already, will you?
Yeah.
And I get into arguments with my cousin because he's the same way. Like, no matter what happens, it's Hue Jackson's fault. I mean, like the South Carolina hurricane was because of Hue Jackson, and I mean, it's ridiculous. I can't stand it. I liken people like that to it's like the Trump thing.
Yeah.
People that are just either blindly Trump is the best or blindly Trump everything he does sucks. Like, no, there's middle ground, you tools.
Yeah.
And, I mean, so people blaming the play calls on Hue. He doesn't call the plays. Yeah. Todd Haley does. No. So what are you blaming Hue for?
Because he's not changing it in the coaching room during the week. And that's my biggest problem with Hue. It's not game calling, play to play. It's that we've already had it a few times this season where there has been drastically bad play calling, and it's not getting cleaned up in practice. So to me, we said this week 1, I think, Todd and Hue do not get along. And they don't listen to Todd Haley does not listen to Hue Jackson. That's my take. I don't know if that's true or not, but it sure seems that way. With stuff like we had yesterday, that third and whatever, and you're running a gimmick play. That's a breakdown in the coaching room when you're game planning, and Hugh's got to be like, look, you're either going to do it my way or I'm going to bring somebody else in and I'll fire you on Monday. That's what a coach has to do. He's got to have control, more control than he has over the what's going on that field. He's not just there to stand around and throw a red flag twice a game. He's got to have more control over it. And some of the stupidity that's going on, he ultimately has to be accountable for that. Or throw his coaches under the bus. That's another thing. I get it. Professional etiquette is not to do that. But if these guys are ignoring him, he needs to throw them under the bus. He needs to be right out there out front and say, look, I wouldn't have called that play. Todd Haley called that play. Ask him when he comes up to the podium.
You can't do that.
I know
man.
You can't, but why shouldn't he then? Then why can't you blame Hue? If he doesn't,
he didn't call the play.
But then he says I'll take full responsibility. Well, then he's taking full responsibility.
You know that's just coach speak, dude.
I know it's coach speak. I know that it's coach speak, but that's why everybody's upset about Hue Jackson. I think in the end, if Todd Haley starts listening to Hue Jackson, I think this is an assumption. I don't know this to be true, but I think Todd Haley thinks that if he starts listening to Hue Jackson, he's not going to get the job when Hue is fired. And I think Haley wants the job. So he's going to do his job, but in the end, little thing here, little thing there, if it ain't going to hurt if it's not going to hurt him, then what's his problem? Why would he change it? He's going to try and run it his way.
Yeah. I mean, I just think he's so headstrong that, he's just like, it's like the Josh Gordon thing in the first game.
Mm-hmm.
That was a miscommunication. I'll talk to Todd about that. No, it's probably Todd Haley just going, no, I'm calling this play. I don't give a damn if you want him out there or not.
Yeah.
Haley don't care. He's like, I run the offense.
Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do.
What do you think would have happened if Bill Belichick's offensive coordinator did that?
Yeah, right.
He would have either been fired or suspended publicly. Publicly, they would have suspended him for the next game, if not fired. Right, don't you think?
Yeah, but when you have that many Super Bowls and you're Bill Belichick, you can get away with that stuff. Hue Jackson is not Bill Belichick.
Well, I know he's not Bill Belichick, but you know who else knows that? Todd Haley.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And that's why Todd Haley is just like, whatever, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. And that's a breakdown that you cannot have on a team that is this close to finally scaling the heights of mediocrity. You can't have breakdowns on any level. I mean, we talk all the time about that the team has to play nearly perfect. They have to, all three phases of the game have to be. I think we got to start looking at this point at the fourth phase, which is the coaching. Because
it's hard not to.
Because that's where we're losing games. Not yesterday. I mean, we know we're the fifth team took the game yesterday, but for better for worse, I don't think that yesterday's team was coached very well on any side of the ball. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Well, I mean, when the strength of your team has been the defense, and you give up 45 points and 560 yards, yeah. I mean, again, I have a hard time faulting the offense because no matter how crappy you played, if you score 42 points, you should win every time.
Yeah, I mean,
if you make mistakes, okay, you're going to make mistakes. If you're making mistakes while dropping a 40 spot on people, I mean, what are you going to complain about? Oh man, you could have had 60 points. Like, no, you're not ever going to say that.
And dude, I'm not complaining about the offensive production. But I am definitely looking at the, multiple turnovers and that is discipline. That is discipline that's not there. And that comes back to Todd Haley and looking at plays like that. Think of it the other way, dude. We're focusing on the Callaway loss of whatever it was, 8 yards or whatever on 3rd and goal.
Sure.
If Hyde takes that ball, no matter what, if he gets stopped, it's 4th and an inch and you have a shot for 7 and we win the game.
Yeah.
If he fails, okay, then the Raiders got to go 99 and 8/10 yards to score. More than likely yesterday, at that point in the game, they're not doing that, and we still win a field position battle.
Yeah.
But what did they do? They dropped it back to to the 10 or whatever. And we lose the field goal or we lose the field position battle.
Yeah.
And we have to settle. And that's what we have done as Browns fans for 15 years is settled. That was old-fashioned Browns football. That was last year's Browns football. Get close, don't convert. And I know it's only one time, and I know they scored a lot of points yesterday, but you can't, at this point, if you want to stay a mediocre team, then you look for positive and negative. And instead, I think we as fans have to stay focused on where they're still screwing up. And that play yesterday was a failure on the offense, a failure on the coach, and a failure on the head coach. Period. There's no other way to look at it. And, for all we want to say about the refs costing us the game, that play probably cost us as much as the refs did.
But you could look at it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's so hard to look back at the whole thing when it all comes down to get a first down, the game's over. You get a first down, okay, game's over, and then they come back out and say, no. I mean, everything led up to that, and they always say, well, don't put yourself in a position to have that happen. Well, we didn't. We scored 42 points, and I mean, what do you want? We gave up 20 unanswered, and then promptly came back with 14 unanswered of our own. That's what people aren't talking about.
Right.
Everyone's bitching about the fact that we gave up 20 unanswered points. Yeah, that sucks. But then we scored 14 unanswered. So it's not like we got punched in the mouth and laid down. No. I mean, we've said it before. This team is, they came back against the Steelers. They came back against the the Saints, and they really came back against the Jets, and now they did it again yesterday. Mm-hmm. They're not laying down when they face adversity.
No, they're just not good enough yet.
They're not finishing. Yeah, I mean, and dude, doesn't it feel like to you now, all they have to do, and this is another reason I'm so pissed that they lost this game yesterday and got it stolen from them. This just seems like the kind of team that the energy that they carry with them, if they string like 2 wins together, it could be like a snowball effect.
Could.
It just feels like they're going to get on a roll if they can figure out how to get over the hump. And yesterday should have been that second win in a row. And then you're going into this week's game against a division rival, Baker's first start at home in front of the home fans. You're playing the number 1 defense in the NFL, and you got mojo.
Sure. But see, and this is why I'm going to go back to the coaching, dude. I'm going to stick on the coaching for a little while. And if you don't see it or you don't believe it, that's fine. Pick any coach of any team that is successful. Do you think that Bill Belichick or Mike Tomlin or any of those guys, the guy from the Eagles, Peterson, do you think that they go for it on 4th and an inch?
Man, that's such a good question. I don't know. I mean, at that point in the game, like you said, you're risking giving them the ball inside the red zone.
Well, but I agree. But you either have the balls to go for the win, or you don't, and you go for the not to lose. And yesterday, Hue Jackson went for the not to lose. That's the difference.
Yeah. I just still think that
and he would have got
he
killed.
Tried that,
he would have got
if he
killed.
Didn't get it, he would have been crucified.
He would have got killed.
He
probably would have got fired. Honestly, I mean, if we want to really, really truthfully be honest, if they lost that game on that play, Hue Jackson probably loses his job. But you know what? If you're really committed, then you're really committed, and you roll the dice. And you just accept, well, maybe I'm not meant to be a head coach if I'm fired for that. I mean, honestly, dude, I mean, there's winning mentality and there's protective mentality. And I think it's been so long for us as fans to have really professional football in front of us that we as fans don't even understand having that, well, go for it. We're always looking to protect because we're so unused to having a lead.
Yeah.
We don't know, dude. Why did you not want to go for it yesterday? Because you were scared to death of giving up the lead. You had no confidence that if we went for it and failed, that we could do anything to stop them. None. Because that's the environment that we've grown with for 20 years.
See, if that's the outlook, if you're really thinking that if you give it up, you can't stop them, well, what's the difference? If you can't stop them, then you might as well go for it, because if you punt it back to them, you're not going to stop them then if that's your thought process.
Well, but I'm going even more than just that play. It's the same reason that they went for 2-point conversions over and over and over yesterday, because they don't have confidence in their guy. They don't have confidence in that phase of their game producing what it's supposed to, and that comes back to what we're saying. Is it exciting to see a 2-point conversion? I guess, but you know what? Those 3 points were the difference yesterday again.
Well, they made 2 out of the 3.
Yeah.
So I mean.
So 1 point.
I mean, it didn't cost us anything by missing that
point.
one and going for it, but
it's 1 point.
Yeah, but we lost by 3, so who cares?
But we wouldn't have been in overtime because we'd have had that
true.
1 point.
Yeah, no, you're right. You are right. You are right.
We wouldn't have been in overtime because we would have had that point.
Yeah, but then again, if you don't go for 2 on those other ones, then you're down 2 points because you got 4 points out of the conversions instead of what you would normally get 2. So it kind of does wash.
Yeah, I don't know. I
see your point. I see your point. And again, I haven't heard an explanation from the coaches about why. And being realistic, it's not like they're going to come out and say, well, this kicker, we don't know what the hell he's going to do. Yeah. I mean, they'll probably just go, the footing was bad, and.
They're just going to feed a line of shit. They're just going to say, well, we felt that we were aggressive and we felt that we had a good mismatch. Shut up.
Yeah.
You didn't trust your kicker. That's why you did it. Because, the other side had a brand new kicker too, and they trusted his ass to win the game. And he did. Period. That McCrane guy or whatever, and he missed one too. So he missed a kick in his first game in the NFL. And they didn't take his they didn't cut his nuts off. They just let him go out there and win the game anyway. They expected him to do his job. Why? Because Jon Gruden is, and I'm not saying Gruden's a great coach or anything. I don't believe that. But Jon Gruden has the balls to go for it. He's like, this is what your job is. You're supposed to do it. Now get your ass out there and do it. And that's what we don't have yet. And it's because Hue Jackson is 2-33 now? An 060 winning percentage.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the confidence because he doesn't have the history. His confidence level, I mean, dude, if you did anything and you did it well 1-2 times out of every 33 times that you tried it, you'd probably stop doing it. Right?
No, I mean, it makes sense, man. It's just, losing begets losing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all it is. I mean, that's what I'm saying. They've got to get over the hump. And
well, that's why I keep saying that it's time for Hue to go, because Hue does not have the experience and the mental calculations. And I'm not saying that he's stupid. He's certainly way smarter than me. But you have to have that combination of intelligence, football, what do they call that? Football intelligence, not just
football IQ, yeah.
Football IQ and experience to know what to do at the absolute most critical time. And you have to have that idea that fast, just instantly. And because he's lost so much, I don't know that he's ever going to gain that, where you could bring in somebody that has had success that will have that. If John Gruden coached the Browns yesterday, the Browns win the game. And his team didn't play very well either, but when it counted, they did. When it had to happen, they did. And when it had to happen for us, it didn't.
Like you said, man, it's the, Gruden's won before. Hue Jackson went 8-8 1 year with the Raiders, and now he's been, record-wise abysmal with us. And,
And I'm not a hater. I hope you don't think that I'm a hater, or the people that are listening to the podcast. I don't hate Hue Jackson. I really, really don't. I would love to see him not lose another game this season and get his record all the way up to 14-33. That would be great. Right. That would be fantastic. But, dude, we're so close now. You got to start at least realistically considering that the one element that we haven't fixed yet is the problem.
Well, that's definitely it. I mean, you can't. Again, there's no excuses for him anymore.
Right.
I mean, Joe Thomas came out and said that they were tanking the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. So, that's why they got rid of Sashi and not Hue.
Right.
Because everyone was telling the Haslams, nobody can win with this crap you're putting out on the field. Like, this is awful.
Right.
And so they went, all right, well, Hue can't win, so let's give him a shot. Like, the players like playing for him, whatever. Sashi, hit the bricks. But I mean, at this point now, the roster is obviously much better than it was.
It's competitive. It's competitive.
Yeah. I think, dude, and you know what? I think we can legitimately say that if both sides of the ball, and not saying play lights out, but play to their potential, this is a team that can win a lot of games, because the offense with Baker apparently can score a lot, and the defense is a very high quality defense, and they lead the NFL in takeaways. So, I mean, if they play to their potential, you should be winning games.
I don't disagree with that. Which means if you really look at it, what do we have to fix then? If the offense is playing, put up 42 points yesterday. The defense up until yesterday was keeping everybody at around 20 points a game. Okay, yesterday not so great, but that all being said, that leaves you two areas that you can really look at and say, okay, there's a problem here. That's special teams, which we've acknowledged the problem by replacing the kicker, and the coaches.
Get rid of that coach.
Yeah, and they need to get rid of the coach too, but him and Hue can drive out of town together.
Right.
It's fine with me, and get somebody in here with, Haley. Didn't Haley take the Chiefs to the playoffs?
Yeah, the first year, but then he kind of was like crappy a few years after that. He wasn't. He had like one good season, and then it was bad afterwards.
And I wouldn't mind seeing Greg Williams in that spot.
He wasn't very good at all.
No, but
coaching Buffalo, but
it was Buffalo. I certainly don't think that he would. I don't think that he would back down from a crucial situation. Greg Williams.
Hell no.
I think he goes on 4th and 18 from that. That play yesterday.
Well, I mean, look what he did yesterday, man. I mean, he just started blitzing the hell out of Derek Carr, excuse me. Because he wasn't able to get pressure. He's getting rid of it so fast. He's like, I'm going to bring the house.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that left guys wide open.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, he just did not care. He's like, I'm gonna, try and jump all over this guy, and it was to the detriment of, the final outcome. But he's talk about aggressive. Holy crap.
Yeah. And to be fair to the defense yesterday, and I know we're killing them for giving up 45 points. Amari Cooper and Jared Cook are excellent players. They are
Amari Cooper's a bum.
He's
Dude,
not a bum.
No, yes, he is. I have him on my fantasy team, and he doesn't do shit.
He doesn't score points, but he doesn't
because he doesn't get catches. He's a joke.
He's like Landry.
He's overrated as hell. No, he's not. Juice produces way more, and you can go. The stats are there to back it up too. Amari Cooper has been a disappointment from where he was drafted, and he pisses me off. Because I drafted him a couple times now, thinking, okay, well, everyone says he's supposed to be good, and then he ends up sucking. It's a waste. And I benched him yesterday because I was like, all right, I've had enough of you, you turd. 3 games, you've been garbage, and so of course he goes off.
10 catches.
Oh my God! It's like I trust the Vikings defense to be good because they're so awesome last year. So I benched Jared Goff. I'm like, all right, Cam Newton, he was on a bye. My third quarterback was Baker Mayfield. I was like, all right, Baker, he's going to, I have faith in him. And, the Raiders don't have a good defense, so I tried to play the percentages. So, of course, the Vikings defense craps the bed and Goff goes off for 460 yards and 5 touchdowns. I'm like, man, dude, I swear.
Dude, not to get off the Browns, but, man, the Rams are real, man.
You think?
I've watched a bit of them, like 2 or 3 games now, like pieces of games. They are a very real team, dude. It would shock me none to see them go very far in the playoffs. They look really real.
They got like a top 10, it might even top 5 on both sides, but top 10 offense and defense.
Yeah,
they're like one of the few teams in NFL history to do that. If I remember what I read correctly.
Right. Well,
I mean, they're awesome on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, but you haven't watched them yet, have you?
No.
You gotta watch. If it's on any channel, just watch a quarter. That's a real. That's what we should be aspiring to be, because they were pretty much in the same position that we are, like 3 years ago, and boy, have they turned it around nicely. And
and you know what, dude? It's funny you bring them up because it completely proves your point about coaching being what can hold a team back, because it's basically the same roster that Jeff Fisher had.
Yeah.
And then they brought in Sean McVay, and now all of a sudden they're setting the world on fire. I mean, all they did basically was swap out the coach.
Yeah, new and
system. All of a sudden they're kicking ass.
Yeah, well, Jeff Fisher's that's not a guy I would suggest bringing in either.
No,
that guy's a turd. He stinks.
I mean, Haley's already been a coach, and I don't remember if he ran his own offense when he was with KC, but if you're going to get rid of Hue, just elevate Haley to head coach. Let him be the head coach and offensive coordinator.
Right.
And keep Williams, I hope.
Yeah, if he'll stay. If he doesn't get the head coach job, he might leave.
Man, I hope not. I'm so sick of turnover. And the defense has made such strides in the second year. I can't imagine what it's going to be like when they add some more talent to that side of the ball, and it's like the 3rd, 4th, 5th year of a system. Oh my God, that'd be great.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see, huh?
Yeah. So what do you think about this week's game? We got Baltimore. Like I say, it's a home game, Baker's first start, so the energy is going to be up. They know they got jobbed out of a win yesterday, and but it is the number 1 ranked defense. And, Baltimore's playing well. Their offense apparently is clicking pretty well, too.
Yeah, so, I didn't watch any of it yesterday because I'm not a fan of either of those 2 suck teams. So,
nice.
I really don't know what Baltimore has right now, to be honest. I know they're not putting up 42 points a game.
No, they are not. But I guess like Flacco supposedly is having a pretty good rapport with his receivers, which was not supposed to be the case. So their passing game is pretty formidable from what I read. So we'll see.
And aren't they doing a lot of stuff that's it's not Wildcat, but it's a similar thought where they're bringing in Lamar Jackson to kind of maybe be receiver, maybe be quarterback, and they're flipping him in and out as well.
I can't say for sure. I haven't read that.
Yeah.
Maybe they are. Like I said, I don't pay too much attention. I basically look at the final scores and whatever. Yeah, and then I'll look up like the defensive and offensive rankings to see if the Browns have a prayer against somebody. But they had talked about doing that. I don't know if they've done it so far, but I know they talked about it.
All I ever do is look to see if the Ravens' plane crashed, and when it didn't, I move forward because I still have resentment. I know it's been 20 years or whatever. I still hate them.
Of the 3 division rivals that we have, I hate them the least.
Really?
Yeah, dude, because I have friends from Baltimore that I met at the Star Wars convention, and they're like cool fans. Like, they're not D-bags.
Yeah.
And like you can actually talk to them and, have a rational conversation. You could joke with them. Steeler fans, almost universally not. They're total assholes. And Bengal fans are pretty far up that list too. I mean, I've been to Cincinnati for a game and they were just, oh my God. And, being down in the dog pound with them, they can't keep their damn mouths shut. They're obnoxious.
Yeah.
So Baltimore, they're not really obnoxious fans. It's like, okay, and I've never blamed the city of Baltimore. I blame that rotting piece of crap Art Modell. So,
right. Well, as far as who's got the worst fans in our division, I would say all of them.
Just lump them into a pile.
It's all one big. You know what it needs? It needs a giant with a turd bag. Just like walking around after a dog. Just clean up our dog shit, which is those other three teams.
Right.
Maybe I should make a T-shirt like that. There's got to be some dog and dog crap shirt that I could make with the other three teams, right?
Of course there is.
Think the Browns would license it from me?
Yeah. Go to tpublic.com/Dog Pound Podcast for your dog shit T-shirt.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all right, man. Well, why don't we get out of here on that note?
And, well, what do you think? What's your score?
Oh man, I don't know.
I almost got the Raiders score right.
Yeah, you did.
Just the Raiders.
Yeah, exactly. Man, it's going to be close. I mean, it comes down to, what I don't think that the Baltimore offense is so potent that the Browns defense can't hold them in check. So I think it all comes down to what Baker can do against the Ravens defense.
Right.
I think it's going to be a low scoring game.
38-34.
Yeah, right. I could see Baltimore winning like 17-14, 20-17, something like that.
Wow. And I'm leaning the other way this week. Boy, me and you we haven't jived once, I don't think, but I'm feeling a Browns win. I'm feeling that Baker's going to get that juice from being home. I'm certain that the dog pound, and from the dog pound to section 552, row ZZ are going to be absolutely giving Baker a lot of love. So, the fact that it's going to sound like a playoff game in there, I'm going to go Browns, but I'm like you. I think it's going to be close. I'm going to say 27-21 Browns.
All right. I like it.
There we go.
I like it. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Dog Pound Podcast. We appreciate you guys. Dog Pound Podcast. There we go. Thanks for tuning in and downloading the show, and everybody, tell your friends, man. Tune in. So until next time, go Browns, and here we go, Brownies. Here we go.
Thanks for listening to the Dog Pound Podcast. Be part of the next edition by sending your thoughts to Woof, that's WOOF, at dogpoundpodcast.com, or by calling us at 216-503-6404. See you next time, and go Browns!
Get